Hello everyone and welcome to a Chapter 10 review. This is going to be finding the surface area and volume of three-dimensional objects. Now you need a pencil and calculator to do the majority of today's work. I have 4 problems on each of the 4 pages that I'm going to review with you. Okay. Now you'll notice that our first problem has to do with rectangular prism. Okay, each of these is a rectangular prism. Now in each of these, the volume is a little bit easier than the surface area. Remember, to find the volume, it's always length times width times, I guess I put those out of order. Length times width times height, or maybe you call this length and this width and this height. It doesn't really matter which is which because ultimately you are multiplying them together. You are finding the length times the width times the height. Now what I would really like you to do in each of these is record what you are multiplying together. So I would write 3 times 3 times 2 equals, and most of this work can potentially even be done in your head. Notice 3 times 3 is 9, times 2 is 18. Now, I am not going to be grading whether or not you put the units on there, but yes, you would want to put units on there. Next, I personally like to write the area on the diagram. So notice that in problem letter A, you also have the number 2 right here as the height. And that's useful because you need to think, okay, what is the faces that I see and what are the faces that I can't see? So I want you to notice on the front face, 3 times 2 is 6. On the side, on the right side, I can see 3 times 2 is also 6. On the top, I know that I have the number 3 and I have the number 3. That means that my top has an area, 3 times 3 is 9. Now, there are 6 faces in a prism, but I can only see half of them. So for every front 6, I know there is a back 6. For the top 9, I also know that there is a bottom 9. For the right hand 6, I also know there is a left hand 6. Now there are shortcuts to this, but I'm not doing shortcuts because I want you to see that you have to account for all 6 of the faces. Now I can add these numbers up. There's 18, there's 12. 18 and 12 make 30, plus another 12 give me 42. Technically, this is inches squared. What I want you to do on this page only is surface area and volume. Volume goes really quick. Surface area takes a little more time. You have to think. Surface area. Here's a front 18. 3 times 6 is 18. A right-hand side, 3 times 20 is 60. The top is 6 times 20, which is 120. And then you account for each of the given sides. For every front 18, there's a back 18. For every top 120, there is a bottom 120. For every right 60, there is a left 60. Then you can add those all up and find the actual surface area. Every problem on this page is the exact same process. Go ahead, pause the video to complete this page. Page number 2. It says find the area of the base. Remember, the area of the base is pi times the radius squared. Then multiply it times the height. Now, on your calculator, you can do this all at the same time. On your paper, though, I do want you to record, if I were to do problem letter A, here's what I would write. Pi times the radius 3 squared times 5, which is the height, equals. And after you type this in your calculator, you get the number 141.37166694. I don't care about all that, okay? What I want you to do is round to the nearest whole number. So you pay attention to the 10th, and the 10th tells you to stay put or go up. So in this problem, my final answer would be 141 technically feet cubed. Okay? Each problem on this page is the same. Pi r squared h. Go ahead and write what you are multiplying and round your answer to the nearest whole. I know the paper says 100. Okay? Go ahead, pause your video to complete this page. All right, let's tackle page number 3. Now, what we learned in lesson 10.1.3 is that a cone is always 1/3 of its cylinder. This is the mathematical principle that we learned. So very similar to our cylinder page. I'm going to go ahead and type in 1/3 times pi. This happens in every single problem. The radius, which in this problem is 2 squared, times 3. 1/3 pi r squared h. Now, when you do this on your calculator, I personally type pi first, then I type in 2 squared, then I type times 3, and I personally divide by 3, not multiply by 1/3. It is the same mathematical principle, but I think it's more efficient on a calculator. Once again, this says nearest hundredth. I personally prefer whole. The nearest whole, this is 12.56, yada, yada, yada. The 5 tells the 12, round up to 13. Okay? Each of these problems is the same. It is 1/3 times pi times the radius times the height. Please write out what you are multiplying and round to the nearest whole. Pause the video to complete this page. Okay, last page. Notice we have some mixed review. You have practiced finding the volume of a cylinder. You know how to do that. You know how to find the volume of a prism. You know how to do that. You know how to find the volume of a rectangular prism. You know how to do that. The one that we did not practice is technically a pyramid. Now notice, pyramids have a very similar relationship to cones. It is once again 1/3 times the length times the width times the height. Notice that this base happens to be a square. That's okay. You can do 1/3 times 6 times 6 times the height, 15. Now, complete the rest of this page. If you do not finish in class, it will be homework. Thanks for coming to our Chapter 10 review. We'll see you next time.